functioning. And then kindness, of course. I think one thing I hate are rude people. I absolutely hate rude people. And when I'm on driving, sometimes people honk at me for no reasons. People flip me off, and I am not the best driver, but I'm a good driver, okay? I'm not the best, but I'm good enough. Like I do not warrant a middle finger. It makes me so mad. And this is a stupid example, but why are you flipping me off? Okay? Like there's no point in
Yeah.
doing that. Just be nice. Be nice. Why are you putting anger into the world? Be nice. So that's the
Hmm.
stupid example. But it does not take a lot of effort to be kind. And I think that what is the opposite? I guess the opposite of kindness is evil. But I don't know. If you are not nice and if you do something rude, you're putting that energy into the world, and you're, I guess, offloading your anger onto another person, and that person themselves might offload their anger onto another person. So I don't
Hmm.
like rudeness, but yeah. So that was a long tangent for my end, but that is a value. Those are some values that I admire. So I will ask you, what are some values you don't admire, Shivani?
Hmm. Before that, I just want to respond quickly to some of the things you said, because I think you said some really um, important things. For example, the concept of like offloading anger. And that's kind of how I rationalize, unkind behavior these days. Like I think when I was first confronted with it, obviously when I was much more naive or just didn't really understand like the source of it, I would just be like, oh, like maybe there's just like good people and then there's like evil people, you know? Like that was kind of my naive understanding of it. Like, okay, like some people are just good and some people are just bad. But I think now the way that I see it is that like there's this quote, I'm trying to remember exactly what it says, but I think it's like happy people make other people happy and like miserable people make other people like miserable basically. Like it's like there's no good or bad people. There's just like joyful and miserable people basically. And basically what it's saying is that like you said, the concept of like offloading your anger. Like if you have anger to put out into the world, it means that there's some kind of anger within you. And so really it's just a reflection of you, and like people have said this a lot, like it's not a new or revolutionary idea. The idea like, oh, like how someone behaves towards you is more a reflection of them than like a reflection of you. So you should never take anything that someone does to you too personally, because like you shouldn't get hurt by it and be like, oh, like it's because I'm not good enough, like or pretty enough to be treated well or whatever, or smart enough. I'm just like, and like use that to kind of like further um reduce your own self-esteem. Like you really shouldn't let it affect you at all, because a lot of times, like if you receive anger from someone else, like it's just kind of like revealing something about them to you. Like it's like you're going around the world as someone who like doesn't have that burden and, you know, um, doesn't have that inside of you. Like you're just going with around on with your life, and then you encounter someone who is like mean to you for no reason, but it's like that's the kind of person who you should actually feel sorry for or like compassionate for or like pity for, because like they have something inside of them that's making them like a terrible person basically. And that's how I rationalize it now. And it's always a reflection of what's going on inside of them, I think. Like, and I think it's true. Like I've observed those kinds of people like for long enough periods of time to know like, oh, they're only behaving that way because they genuinely are like suffering internally for some reason. So it's like I think it helps to understand it, because then you can actually just kind of be compassionate towards them and like send them some compassion and then move along your own life and do your own thing. So that's one thing I think it's very important to understand. And yeah, like it's one of the reasons kindness is so important. And it's like it doesn't take much effort to be kind, but I think the reason that a lot of people aren't are like they're just, some of them are just miserable. And it's like sometimes you just have to leave miserable people to be miserable by themselves. So that's kind of the approach that I take at least.